I think a few weeks ago, or a month maybe, we talked about MVP candidates, and I said I would give Wemby strong consideration because
Yeah.
nobody expected the Spurs to be where they are.
Hell no, man.
And he's averaging like what 25 and almost 12 or almost 26 and 11 or something. But his defensive
His
presence,
blocks are sick.
yeah, his block shots. If all he needs is one step from the free throw line, and you can't stop him. His
Nope.
reach is too long. If he wants to dunk, he's gonna dunk.
Yeah, he does whatever he wants out there. Now, we thought he was a special talent, but being a European basketball player coming over here, the NBA isn't as physical as it used to be. He just transitioned in. He became one of the physical players.
Yeah, he's a baller, man. He got the Spurs looking good, dangerous. I don't know if they have enough to beat OKC, but I would like to see it.
I mean, they play every time they play. It seems like they get the upper hand. OKC did win a game, maybe two games. I don't even know what the series is, but it happens to be every time I see these teams play, it's OKC losing to them. So it's one of these. The man who beats the man. Would that be the case? They, I believe, because they beat them as much as they did, and they have to start somewhere if they're going to become champs. Why not start now? Why not beat OKC while OKC is trying to go on a repeat? And I think they have the personnel to do it. The crazy thing is, like boxers, where styles make fights, OKC may not have to play them because someone else might do that.
You talk about styles make fights. Matchups in the NBA
Yeah,
are everything, and usually OKC, they got those big bodies. Holmgren and the other dude, like his
yeah,
name escapes me right now. They usually kill people on the boards, but maybe Wemby's their kryptonite. Like, okay, you guys are kind of big, but I'm bigger. I got longer reach. You guys really can't mess with me. But I wouldn't sleep on the Celtics neither, man.
now all of a sudden,
I mean, they've been playing a lot better than anybody expected, and now Tatum's
absolutely.
back. And I don't know if we talked about it, if I mentioned it, but I think they had to know that he was coming back.
Oh,
There was no word of it. There was no leaking.
they knew it. Come on, man. He didn't
Right.
come out of the door playing
That's
like
why
this.
they were playing at such a high level. They're like, man, we can't be in the play-in when Tatum comes back. We got to have a decent spot. And not that they couldn't come from the 8 spot, but it's a lot more difficult coming from 8 than it is 2, 3, or 4. So they were playing at a
Yeah,
high level, and then you add one of the top 5 or 6 players in the game, they're dangerous, man.
yeah. Even when he came back from his injury, it wasn't like they didn't say
They didn't
anything.
ease them in, yeah.
No, they didn't even ease him in. We were talking about, man, I wonder if they'll let him play like 12
12
minutes, 15
minutes a
minutes.
game, 15
This dude
minutes.
came and kicked down the
No,
freaking door and hasn't looked back. And
right.
now they're up there with Detroit in terms of teams that are scoring a lot of points and getting guaranteed wins. The Knicks is still so fickle, and I don't think this Knicks team is the kind of team that's going to turn the light switch on and off just because they're in the playoffs. But I believe the Celtics can be that kind of team. We know OKC can become that kind of team, and they may need that against a team like San Antonio because that's been kind of their kryptonite this season.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. Maybe OKC has a tougher road in the West. Maybe they get pushed to 6 games, a 7 game series. Maybe Boston, they get there without having to play as many games. You got Jason Tatum with fresh legs, Jalen Brown
Yep.
playing at an MVP level. They have championship experience. They don't have the unicorn, but that's still a very good and talented, experienced team. That might be the best matchup out there. OKC versus Boston.
Yeah, what about Detroit, man? Detroit has just been winning, winning, winning. No one could have ever seen Detroit. Kind of sort of like San Antonio. I wasn't expecting Detroit to look that quick. I mean, they were one of the young teams I talked about, but that was like within a 4 or 5 year window. Orlando, Memphis, them. Memphis and the Timberwolves had kind of like the head start, but everything kind of went topsy turvy. And now we have Detroit out there. I thought Houston would pick up, and Houston's kind of been consistent, but not doing anything too much different, even with Durant there.
I thought Cunningham got injured. Like they're
He did get
missing,
injured.
and they're still balling.
Yeah, yeah. They're still number one. They're
Oh,
still number one in the East, of course. And OKC started off so hot. They've lost more of late, even though they've gone on long winning streaks because they have the team to be able to do it. But Detroit has just been destroying teams. And if you're on the gambling side, man, they've been beating teams 10, 15, 20 points almost on the regular. So, yeah, the Detroit Pistons, I don't think I could have seen this coming a mile away with the consistency they've been playing with. In fact, I think this team this year with Detroit is kind of like that Cleveland team from last year, at least the way they started off in the middle of the season, too.
Well, they looked really good in the playoffs last year, and I'm sure most people thought they would ascend a little bit, but they've ascended a lot.
They jumped right into the championship picture because the East is like that. If they were in the West, we could talk about a little bit less in terms of them being almost a guaranteed spot going to the number one seed, which they are right now. But yeah, when it comes to Boston, you bring Jason Tatum back. They just held serve and went over holding serve while he was gone. Now he's there, and the Knicks fall even further back. If you want to look at the Knicks and being what they were last year, you know what? This is one of the few times you would give a pass to a team like the Pacers because of everything that happened to them. So them not being in the playoffs, I don't think this is something people look at as an organizational failure, or people look at them as, see, this is a one-year wonder. I think when everything's back in place, they don't have Miles Turner, but they'll still be okay, a little bit more consistent when they have pieces in place.
You'd have to be a dim-witted, no basketball watching troll to not know what's going on with the Pacers.
If you've been to some of these boxing, basketball, might as well say boxing, because the same shit happens.
Case in
Go to
point.
one of these basketball groups, they say the same nonsense.
Case in
Look at them
point.
now.
Case in point. I mean, there's no Halliburton. They let what's his name, Miles Turner leave.
Miles Turner, yeah.
They're just not the same team. But if they get into the lottery and they get a top five, top six
lottery
pick,
this year.
right?
I have a lot of faith in this lottery. I didn't have before the season.
They're gonna get another baller to help out Halliburton when he comes back.
Well, unless Charles Barkley is in charge, then we get the best team with the best players. Get the hell out of here with that. Well, going back to your argument about MVP, how about freaking Luka, man? I mean, it was guaranteed in the beginning of the season and kind of in the middle of the season that Wemby was just off the charts. Luka has just been seriously, he's setting records like MJ in terms of what he's doing with the most points in a month. I mean, he's been doing it. It's not just flash and dash. He's making it happen. They're running over him, not LeBron.
Yeah, he's been balling, but is that recency bias? Like, has he been balling like that all year?
Well, because of that stat of him.
Wemby's been leading the
He's
charge.
Been leading the Spurs, no doubt. And the Spurs are nowhere without him. But with the Lakers being what they are and Luka being on that team, the bigger market, all that stuff, all the eyes on them. But to score the most points, and the only player that scores as many points up there with Michael Jordan in terms of the month of March, I mean, that's a lot to be said. A 31-day month, that dude was just balling, scoring 30-point games, 40-point games, doing pretty much owning it.
Best thing that happened to him was LeBron went out. He just took control. Like, you know what? This is my team, and he's option one now.